your family fun headquarters.
I don't know where. I know here at 103.7 The Buzz, we got a heck of a rain this afternoon. Heck of a rain. And I'm sure around central Arkansas, I looked at radar, and so some folks were getting rain, some weren't, but it cooled things off a little bit, Brian.
Cooled things off a little bit, and I was watching that come in, and it was swirling around and going this way and that, and everything was blowing around in circles, and I thought, don't like the looks of this. But it turned out well. It was just a little pop-up shower.
With the weather like that, that usually happens when you're on a river somewhere.
Almost always, and I was not on a river today, but I had planned to be, and I think that maybe the weather just kind of didn't get the memo.
You know what, Brian and I were on, I guess it was a Caddo one time. We knew storms were coming in late in the afternoon, and we got caught catnapping, I guess, and it rained within the next hour before we could get off the river. I think I read in the paper the next day it rained 3 inches, and we bailed with a Ziploc bag.
That's all we had.
Well, I recall on the Buffalo when we were fishing with, I believe, Rusty Pruitt.
Yeah.
And it was a lightning storm.
Yeah.
And these guys are saying they're only going to strike on the top of the ridges. They won't strike on the creek. I'm like, I got a 7-foot piece of graphite in my hand. I think lightning might strike me here on the creek.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna talk about lightning strikes here. We've got our guest with us right now, Matt Baker of Glenwood. He's in Minnesota right now, but Matt Baker is the 2023 Mr. Bass of Arkansas Angler of the Year. He was 23 when he won it, and I had the pleasure of fishing with Matt here a couple of weeks ago. It was a fantastic day. Lots of big fish. My friend Kathy Worsfeld was with us. She caught one that was nearly 8 pounds. It was great, and so Matt Baker is in Minnesota now, and he's going to tell us what he's doing. Matt Baker, welcome to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
Thank you all a lot for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite to go fishing, Matt. I really appreciate it. Okay.
I'm sitting outside a restaurant right now. I just got off the water. I've been on Leech Lake all day long. This lake goes off limits the 13th this upcoming weekend, and I'm trying to get a little bit of pre-practice in, so when I come back for my 3 days of official practice, I'll at least kind of know which direction I'm headed.
So tell us what you're doing up there.
The final stop of Division II of the Bassmaster Open is coming here August the 14th through the 16th. And there's a 28-day off-limits period beginning the 13th of this month. So I'm up here just getting a little bit of familiarity with the area and the lake itself, and kind of what I'm going to be going after species-wise, because you can chase largemouth or smallmouth on this lake, and there's a lot of both of them as far as I can tell.
We had the chance to visit about your plans and your career while we were fishing. What was the name of that lake that we were on? Sam Asher Reservoir.
Or Asher's Ranch is what they call it. They named it after my younger cousin, and he's just a kid right now, but he loves to fish out there all the time, and I'm sure he'll be fishing there a lot of years. But it's got some huge bass in it, and it's an awesome place to go stretch a string.
You told me how many over 10 pounds that you caught there, and your biggest one. I'd kind of forgotten the numbers, so fill us in there.
It weighed 12 even, the biggest one I've boated, and I've caught probably a dozen over 10 out of that lake, and I guide there, and it don't have very much pressure on it at all. There's not a lot of advertising going on for it anymore, but it is still chock full of 7 to 11-pound bass. Biggest one I've guided weighed of 11 pounds and 12 ounces are right in there. It was 11 3/4, and but it's an awesome place to catch a big fish, double digit.
As a professional angler and being on the road and being in the state of Minnesota, when you first get there, what all are you calculating? What are you keep doing graphs, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I had to stop and buy a map card on the way up from my unit, so that I would get a little bit of the contour and that advantage. So I did that, and just watching previous tournaments that's been here and knowing kind of what the weight that I'm looking for, and just, whether or not smallmouth or largemouth seems to usually take home the win, or most of the money, because right now I'm sitting pretty decent in points, and I'm trying to stay in the top 50. And so, you may not always want to swing for it in something like this, trying to make the Elite Series and everything. So just trying to make sure I'm going to be in contention to move on and have a chance to make the Elites this fall.
That's a long grind, and you were telling us about the road that you're on there. You're very ambitious. You're working your way up, and you're in the circuit. Tell us what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish.
I would like to make the Elite Series. That's my goal. I started off right out of college fishing the Toyota Series, which is in the MLS side of things, and I had a pretty good year doing that. And I thought, well, my end goal, I would really like to make the Elites and fish a Bassmaster Classic. That's kind of the Super Bowl still to me of all bass fishing events, and so I had to switch gears on what I was going after, and I decided to start jumping in the opens. Well, they changed the format this last year to it's better suited me. You didn't have to fish all 9 events. Now then they have 2 different divisions. You can fish either of the 2, and if you're in top 50 in points of either of those divisions, you move on to a 3-tournament series in the fall, and then you'll restart points. You have these 100 guys, 50 out of each division. They'll redo points, and the top 10 in points are your new 2026 elite anglers. So they're the new pros going into 2026. So that's the goal I'm chasing right now is stay in the top 50, and then this fall, be in contention to have a chance to make the elite.
You when you get there, you got the Mr. Bass of Arkansas in 2023, and that was a big step for you. We don't hear too much about that circuit anymore, but it's still the cream of the cream in Arkansas. And tell us about that journey and what it meant to you to win that.
Mr. Bass is probably bigger right now than it's ever been. I know the payouts are certainly the best it's ever been. If there's 90 boats show up, which most of the time there is, it's paying over $7,000 to first place, and it's a great series, and I'm still trying to fish every one of those I can. Of course, you kind of got to prioritize your tournament when you're in the springtime. Have one every weekend or 2 a weekend, and so I do a lot of running and gunning in the spring. But trying to stay fishing all them. I think I finished 6th in points this year in the Mr. Bass and the Classics at Bull Shoals October. I can't remember what the date is, but the Classic's going to be at Bull Shoals in October, and I hope I can make it, but we'll see if I get to or not.
Matt, are you in need of sponsors?
Yes, sir. I'm always in need of sponsors. I'm very thankful for the ones I've got. War Eagle Custom Lures and Monster Marine Lithium are 2 of my biggest ones, and Trader Bill's helps me out a lot, and I'm really thankful for them. American Termite and Pest Control, and Pro One Transmission in Texarkana, Swaha Marina on Lake Greason, U-Call Rods. They're a brand new company out of Texas, and they're trying to expand and get in some stores in Arkansas as well. They're really great rods. I've got to use them all year this year for the first time, and I'm looking forward to staying with those guys. And it's been a great. I got a new boat this year. I'm running a Vexus from Trader Bill's with a 250 Suzuki, and I'm just super thankful for everybody that's supported me and helping me. It all helps. It's what it takes. I couldn't do it without them, really.
Well, we're going to take us a little break here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. When we come back, we're going to talk about forward-facing sonar. And when I fished with Matt, he put on a clinic that made me understand how that tool works, and it's the most fascinating thing in the world, especially when you're with somebody that really knows how to use it. So hang with us here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
A sale 200 million years in the making. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's loan and lease extinction event. Get out of that old fossil into a new GMC Sierra starting as low as $479 a month. Every new Buick on the lot at 0.9%. During Gwatney Buick GMC's loan and lease extinction event, we're rendering your current loan completely extinct. Make an appointment to get out of the dinosaur you're currently driving. 501-945-4444. 2025 Sierra 2500 HD. Right now, get up to $12,000 off MSRP. Sierra 1500 with up to $12,500 off. Terrain's at just $279 per month. It's the loan and lease extinction event at Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. Some vehicles require qualifying trade-in. All offers with approved credit. Stock numbers 30833, 31064, 31456. Terrain is a low-mileage lease.
It's a tough time. Injured, and it was not your fault. Hurts in the pocketbook, too. Who do you turn to? Don't call a lawyer and find they're out of state or talk with someone at a call center. Call us at the Brad Hendricks Law Firm and talk to a real Arkansas lawyer directly. And remember, the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. We'll work hard for you. Have for over 30 years. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make Doubleby's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest Doubleby's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, Doubleby's has them. Want more than a snack? Many Doubleby's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. Doubleby's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
This is Pat Bradley, and you've waited long enough. Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union's Summer Auto Loan Special is rolling full speed ahead, but it won't last much longer. Ultra low rates starting at 1.99%, no payments for 90 days, and 84 months financing. Offer valid on new, used, or refinanced 23, 24, and 25 models. The clock is ticking. Apply now at alcoacommunityfcu.org before this offer passes you by. Offer ends August 30th. Step into the future and save big with Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union.
I'm Dr. Lowry Barnes. When it comes to orthopedic care, there's no place like the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health. We built this hospital just for you, with state-of-the-art surgical suites, advanced technology, and the state's largest group of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons. It's the best place in Arkansas to get you moving again. And if you need urgent orthopedic care, UAMS Ortho Now is right here for you at the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health, where motion lives and service leads.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Welcome back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Ray Tucker, along with Brian Hendricks, outdoor editor of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. I don't know if you're tuning in to our show for the first time. We're here on Monday nights, 7 to 8 o'clock. About nine and a half months out of the year until Calipari basketball coaches show starts. We won't worry about that right now. It's a long ways off and a lot of water under the bridge. We are visiting with Matt Baker, who is a professional angler, and he is up in Minnesota.
Minnesota right now. A couple of weeks ago, I fished with Matt on Asher Ranch Reservoir. It was, kind of a what we call a textbook big bass factory. But we were doing. Matt is very good at forward-facing sonar, and just watching what he does, how he does it. I've heard about it. I know people do it, but watching somebody do it well and explain it to you in terms that you can understand, like you said, that this old country boy can understand. It was pretty cool. And I don't know, Matt, just kind of take us through, the rudiments of fishing with that tool and how you go about, setting up your units and doing what you do.
You learn just so much about fish behavior always looking at that screen. I mean, because anything that swims, it's going to show it. And it's just impressive to see how they relate to cover or how they don't necessarily relate to cover at times. And you can learn species pretty quickly. Well, once you figure out, just based off of a fish's reaction or its movement, its shape, a lot of stuff you can tell after several trips with it. But in a relatively short amount of time, you can tell what you're looking at. Okay, that's a crappie, that's a catfish, that's a bass, that's a gar, and et cetera. Because everything that's out there is going to come across that screen that's swimming, and you got to be able to know what you're after and stay focused, really. Because I always have it on. I rarely turned it off. It's even in shallow water. If you have your settings, tuned just right, you can tell what's going on, and it may put a fish or multiple fish in your boat that you wouldn't have gotten without it, even in super shallow water.
One thing that you did that was really, really impressive is that, we had a novice angler with us, and I just kind of sat back and watched. And, you would say, well, cast over there to the right of that telephone pole on the bank there, and reel, let it go. And you tell her to stop it. And, you were watching this bait in real time doing its thing, and then it would drop down into a brush pile in front of a bass that you watched chase the lure to the bottom, get it, and then you would tell her to set the hook. And, one of those, like I said, was almost 8 pounds. The other, she caught another one, I think it was around 6. And I just thought that was really cool. And people call it, video gaming, but to me, that's just a new component of fishing that makes it a lot more interesting and exciting.
It is. It adds so much to the sport. And learning how fish react to certain baits, like that big ribbon-tail worm, so many big fish eat that on the fall. And if you think back prior to live scope, when you make a long cast and into a brush pile, or you're aiming at a brush pile prior to live scope, but you're not sure if you hit it first cast or not until you start feeling limbs. But that initial fall down through those limbs is so crucial in getting a big fish to react to that bait. That just that flutter and fall of that big worm falling through a brush pile, they will eat it as soon as it hits the bottom, or even before it hits the bottom. A lot of times, I don't know how many times you guys have been throwing a big ribbon-tail style worm and throw it out there, and you click your reel over, and by the time you tighten up, you've got one on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the same thing, and then taking that into using forward-facing sonar, that's why I had her reel that bait just high in the water column above that fish, and as soon as she got over it, then she just killed it and let that fall happen and that fish react to it the way they like to that big worm. But you wouldn't know the timing. Like, you had to land right on that fish at the end of your cast prior to live scope, so it's almost like it's luck. But to be able to reel it and create that reaction is the key to putting that big fish in the boat.
So how far away from the boat can you see a fish?
I over past 100 feet. I use mine normally out to about 90 to 110 feet. And that that small lake or big pond, whatever you want to call it, the water was about 9 foot where we were, and this brush pile came up to probably 3.5 or 4 feet under the surface, and this fish was sitting in the top limbs of this brush pile. And so, and like they do a lot when they're feeding, they're setting up in the limbs a lot. But so for her to, instead of her throwing out there and throwing way past that fish and her bait going to the bottom and then having to just drag it and drag into the side of the brush pile or on the back side, risk hanging up, spooking that fish and everything else, we were way better off to just reel it until we got directly above the fish and kill it. And then you're got less limbs to come out of with the fish on, and you're going to get that fish going to see your lure at the correct angle to bite it. But we can see fish probably anywhere out to 100 or 110 foot in the correct depth. Now, you get less than 8 foot of water, you're probably going to be looking more like 60 or 80 feet out and seeing fish. Up here, I've been finesse fishing, not throwing bait super far, and fishing fairly shallow. I've run my range at about 80 foot out up here at Minnesota this week. 80 foot forward and 20 foot depth range, just so I'm getting more detail. Even though I'm only fishing 5 or 8 foot of water a lot of the times, I still want to keep it at around 20 foot depth range, just so I'm not stretching my image and zooming way in. And because once you zoom in, you can tell a 2-pound crappie with a forward range at 80 foot out by 30 foot down, easy. So when you zoom in way beyond that, like if you zoom into 50 foot forward and 10 foot down, well, your fish now looks like a blue whale swimming by and your bait looks like a fish. so just trying to keep yourself in the correct perspective, and when you get used to what stuff looks like, you don't want to stray too far from those ranges.
Matt Baker,
if that makes sense.
You got a little information to give us about how to get in touch with you and fish with you on that lake. Hang with us on the other side. We'll catch up with you here in just a minute, and join us on the other side with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
At the Bet Saracen Sportsbook app, we realize lots of you have thought about opening an account, but you just haven't made that move yet. Well, now's the time with our new player offer. It's easy. You just sign up, use the code WELCOME, deposit at least $25, place a $25 bet, and that's it. Once that bet settles, you'll have $125 in free bets ready to go. Bet Saracen, the most popular sportsbook app in the state. Download it today on all your devices. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at all City Market grocery stores and all value food stores.
Shipments of spring and summer fashions are arriving at Bell & Sword. That means swimwear from Saks, Peter Noir golf wear and shirts, Johnny O's store within a store. Be sure to check out the Faraday line and Martin Dingman shoes and leather goods. So hurry in for a great value on quality men's clothing at Bell & Sword for your spring and summer items, and you'll look fantastic. Bell & Sword, 1011 Oak Street in downtown Conway on Facebook and Instagram.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
And we're back with Ray
Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we're going to visit with Neil Atkinson of Saracen Casino Resort down in Pine Bluff. Neil, sitting here watching women's professional softball, and I know y'all got that on your board.
Well, no, we don't have the professional softball on the board.
Man, I struck out again.
Yeah, you got me on that one. But if I can find a data provider, which we're in the middle of doing the deals, we'll look at it. But we haven't had a lot of requests for it. But Well, what we have had a lot of requests is the NBA Summer League. Like right now, we've got an in-play game with Oklahoma City playing Philadelphia 76ers. You know, a lot of the drafted players, the rookies get on that. They're actually, looks like they're playing in Utah right now on that one. And then the rest of the week, we'll get a lot of action on Wimbledon. And we've got some profit boosts that you've got there for Wimbledon. Quarterfinals are set and start tomorrow. We got 50% profit boosts there. And, of course, baseball is going into the last week before the All-Star break. And the WNBA is getting heated up, and it'll get a lot of attention when we don't have as much baseball next week with just the All-Star game. And we've got a 30% profit boost on the WNBA this week that you can take advantage of.
Speaking of the All-Star game, will y'all do home run derby?
Lines on the home run derby. It's one of the most popular events. And hey, I know a lot of people will watch the home run derby and skip the game. Because it's so entertaining and it's always fun seeing the kids out there chasing the balls, and everybody just loves to see a long ball.
Neil, how do folks download your app?
Hey, from the web, you just go to BetSaracen.com, or from your phone, you just go to the App Store, type in BetSaracen, download the app. New players got a great offer for you. Once you hit the registration button, use the code WELCOME, and if you'll do that, after you make your deposit and make your first $25 bet, we'll put $125 in free play in your account. You can't beat that one with a hammer and a nail.
Neil, the pleasure is all ours. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we have still with us Matt Baker. He's up in Minnesota from Glenwood, and we got a guest with us, Alan Thomas. Matt, he's got a question he wants to ask you.
Hey, Matt.
Alrighty.
Just briefly,
Hey, how's it going?
On your forward-facing sonar, what's your learning curve, or what would be a learning curve for someone that's just jumping into it and getting their equipment set up and so forth?
The biggest thing is taking the ranges off auto. That's a big thing, and then having a few certain settings correct. There's a few settings that are pretty important, but there's a lot of guys that are really good at forward-facing sonar that those differ with, so they're not a major player. Having your ranges right. And learning that when you throw a bait out there, you're throwing that bait probably between 75 and 100 feet bass fishing. You're throwing it further than you think. And so a lot of guys, I get in their boat and they say, well, I never see my bait. Well, they have their range on 50 foot forward. Well, they're casting, they're throwing past the distance that they're looking. So they're not going to be able to find their bait until they reel it into the distance that their screen is set to read. And then they don't know how deep they are. If they're on the bottom, they're really going to have a hard time finding it. So that's a big thing I see a lot is guys say, well, I'm not seeing my lure on forward-facing sonar. And I step over in their boat and they're zoomed way in. So your bait's landing way out past where that beam's shooting to with this range on it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So, 50 feet, that's really just the distance of two pretty good-sized bass boats.
Yeah, you'd have to, flipping, you could flip a bait 30 feet pretty easily.
Right. Well, you do some guiding around, like on that lake and other places. You also work for action fishing trips on Lake Greeson. I believe that's
Yes,
true.
sir.
So tell our listeners how to get in touch with you to book a bass or a crappie trip.
I have two Facebook pages, just a personal page and then a Matt Baker fishing page. They can message me on that or reach out to me through my phone, which is 870-828-2950.
Slow down. Say that again. People got their pens and papers out.
It's 870-828-2950. It's 2950.
All right.
And I also do electronics trips. I've done electronics trips in other people's boats several times, guide crappie and bass on the lakes in our area, which is Lake Greeson, Lake Washita, Lake DeGray. I'm open to do them on Lake Hamilton. Haven't done any there, but I'm open to do a trip there. And forward-facing sonar classes or trips in their boat, anytime, any lake, wherever. As long as I can fit it in my schedule, we can do it.
All right. Matt Baker, thank you so much for joining us on Ray Tucker's Arkansas
Thank y'all,
Outdoors.
Dan, for having me. I appreciate y'all doing it.
You bet. Take care. Hope you win your tournament, and we'll talk to you down the road.
See you guys.
All right, safe travels to you, Matt. Appreciate it very much. Well, he's quick on the trigger there.
Yeah, he's a man on the move. So we got in the studio with us Alan Thomas, a longtime friend of the show, longtime friend of mine. We have been hunting and fishing together for.
Now he's with Ringling Brothers, right?
I'm not sure I caught that one, but we'll just keep on
suggesting a circus.
Oh yeah,
of affairs with
yeah,
you, Brian.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, when you fish with Brian, sometimes or me, it turns into a circus.
Ours is more like the ones that come and set up in the parking lot over in the, at the wherever it is. You don't know when the
mall circus.
You don't know when the Ferris wheel is going to pop a bolt and come rolling down the interstate, and
that's a bonus.
Yeah,
that's a bonus.
You two guys grew up riding horses in front of Walmart.
So we have been doing stuff together for 20 years, and one of the things Al does really well is eats what he kills and what he catches. And so we're kind of in that time of year. We've kind of stowed away some crappie during the better months, and we've stowed away a few other things, and we still got deer in the freezer, and Alan's got some turkey hanging around. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's just start with the fish, man. What do you do to make some fish that people keep coming back for?
Well, I call it fresh fried fish, cornmeal, salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of lemon zest, and you batter it up just batter it up and fry it. But you don't want to have all the fixings, of course, so you're going to have some coleslaw. And that's made in a bunch of different ways, summer slaw or classic, mayonnaise-style slaw. And then French fries, hush puppies, fresh sliced onion. Come on now, a little bit of fresh lemon. I mean, hot sauce. I mean, it's classic Arkansas. I mean, catfish. I mean, isn't that our Arkansas's official bird? Maybe not a bird.
that would be the mockingbird, which is the meanest bird out there. Yes. And I'm still trying to figure out why that's our state bird.
Oh, yeah, he's got an attitude. So one of the problems I have, and we discussed it last week, is that when I'm preparing fish for the frying pan, I can't keep my batter from clumping up on the fish. I'm working it, and turns into a big mess always.
I think you got to be real efficient you got to have a good setup, for lack of a better way of describing it, and then you got to make sure you're keeping your what you're going to coat the fish in, your fish fry batter, keep it, stirred around to some degree, and you want to obviously coat everything evenly as best you can. And my brother John does a great job on, we call it Friday, Fryday. We have fish fries over at his house, and he's fantastic at it. But to me, it's a fairly
address.
Well, it's Echo Valley. We can work something out. Those fish fries are fantastic, by the way. John does a great job. Actually, kind enough to make slaw just for me. Summer slaw. I love summer slaw. So, but yeah, fish, and you can do it. That's catfish, crappie. One thing I like to tell folks with any fish is you have a big fillet, cut that fillet up into smaller pieces. And a lot of times we're preparing meals with kiddos, and kiddos need that bite-sized, hand-sized stuff.
Yep.
It needs to be flavorful, and so that's one way I like to go at. I recommend with frying fish and obviously quality oil. Keep your oil clean. Use fresh oil as often as you can.
All right, there are a lot of those, for lack of a word, rubs or meal or whatever you.
Sure.
Captain Joe's and all these different names. What's your favorite? Or do you just make your own?
Well, I make my own, but I love Nona Bell's. And Louisiana fish fry. Louisiana fish fry, the folks that make Louisiana hot sauce.
And where do you find that?
At K. Roger, Walmart. I mean, you're just really anywhere. Nona Bell's they have a.
What did you just say? K. Roger?
K. Roger. K. Roger.
Okay.
Kroger. Kroger, man.
I got it.
Come on.
I thought that's what.
Like.
I remember singing you, and I didn't even catch that one.
So Nona Bell's has a spicy version and a regular version. And then Louisiana fish fry has a great version. There's a lot of those out there, but really, if you have cornmeal, a little salt and pepper, I mean, not really salt, but definitely some pepper, you can sprinkle in some, John, my brother likes to sprinkle in some lemon zest to give it just a little zing, which I think is a fantastic addition. And then, of course, okra, all your accoutrements, okra, hush puppies.
No.
Fresh fried,
no.
French fries.
No okra. No.
Really? What's the deal?
You don't like okra?
I hate it.
Really? What did Okra ever do to you?
It made me frown, Al.
It made you frown?
Yes.
How did it make you
Because
frown?
it's
You're going to have to go sit in the corner, right? You're
slimy,
in
slimy,
timeout, Brian.
nasty,
Well,
seed-filled.
If you're eating slimy okra, you're eating the wrong okra, my man.
Well, all right. Well, that's all I've ever had is the wrong okra.
Yeah, boiled okra can get out of here, but fried okra, let's get it.
Watch out.
Now, Kramer, how do you cook it?
We fry okra, man. Throw it in some meal, fry it up.
Yeah, like both my meemaws taught me.
All right. Get out your pens and paper. We're going to tell you how to cook the best of everything. Back in a moment. The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make W's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest W's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, W's has them. Want more than a snack? Many W's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. W's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
It's a tough time. Injured, and it was not your fault. Hurts in the pocketbook, too. Who do you turn to? Don't call a lawyer and find they're out of state or talk with someone at a call center. Call us at the Brad Hendricks Law Firm and talk to a real Arkansas lawyer directly. And remember, the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. We'll work hard for you. Have for over 30 years. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Have questions about retirement, investments, or your money? Call our financial hotline. Dial 501-381-5228 and leave a voicemail with your specific financial question, and our experts will answer it on the Get Ready for the Future show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Get your financial questions answered by the pros. 501-381-5228. Call now. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Independent Advisor Alliance. Independent Advisor Alliance and Genwealth Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Summer is here, and so are soggy wands and muddy paw prints. Acadi's Touch Landscaping specializes in transforming outdoor spaces with refined solutions, drainage systems, retaining walls, and flower beds designed with ease of care in mind. Plus custom decks, fencing, and synthetic turf design to help clean up your kids' play areas and pet runs. Customize your space to enjoy year-round. Call Acadi's Touch Landscaping, 501-794-2770. Let Acadi's Touch turn your dirt into dreams.
Join 1037 The Buzz as First Security Bank presents coverage of the 2025 SEC Media Days. Baz and Trey will be in Atlanta with the latest news, interviews, and highlights. Brought to you in part by Kaufman by Design West, UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine, Beechwood, Pinnacle Hotels, and Bet Saracen. And be sure to watch 1037 The Buzz social media for live videos, pictures, and much more. 1037 The Buzz, live from SEC Media Days, presented by First Security Bank. Bank better.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Oh, it's a fun night here at Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Alan Thomas is in studio with us. Been around Alan 2 or 3, 4 times, whatever. Some of them I don't remember.
All right, so I got to say, I got to back up on this okra thing. You know, a lot of people don't know, Alan, that 80% of the world's supply comes from Oklahoma.
Dun-dun-dun.
There's a buzzer in there. You can use it.
Oh, my, please. That's a double buzzer.
That may be the first time we ever used a buzzer on our show in 10 years.
But I was raised by Depression-era parents, and there was virtue in inedible food. So I got to back up and tell you that that's my background with things like okra and deer. You know, where you just throw a deer medallion in a frying pan and here, take this, and you could, if you couldn't eat it, you could make shoes out of it. Anyway, you're talking about the way that you like to fry up okra, and it kind of got me interested. Go back on that with us.
Well, I learned from 2 wonderful grandparents. Both of my meemaws taught me 2 different ways of frying up okra. One a little crispier with just cornmeal and pepper, and I add something on my own, which is Montreal steak seasoning. Gives it a little bit of a kick. My Meemaw Thomas loved that, and Meemaw Magnus taught me how to cook it a little less crispy. It's always really good. It's a very simple recipe, and the slimy okra, I'm not into that either. Some folks love that though. So
all right, Brian gave me some walleye. How do I cook it?
You can blacken it. You can grill it. I'd certainly recommend grilling it, or you can cut those fillets up into smaller pieces and batter them up and fry them.
All right, I got a big Blackstone griddle.
Use a blackened seasoning with some quality oil and just a little bit of oil, and get that griddle really hot, probably around 380 to 400 degrees. Slap that fillet down there on that griddle with that blackened seasoning and blacken that walleye straight up. Actually, catfish, walleye, anything you can blacken up in an iron skillet, or like you say, on a griddle. I have a griddle as well, a 36-inch Blackstone.
Have you used sizzle and grizzle?
Hello?
Drizzle and sizzle. Have you tried that product?
I have not tried drizzle and sizzle. However, it sounds like a lot of fun.
But it didn't sound very good the first time I said it.
Yeah, and the other thing I would recommend with the walleye, Ray, is not wait 2 months to eat it.
Oh my! Yeah, that's talk. Man, he just dug into you a little bit, Ray.
Well, you know what? It's a little warm to stand over that Blackstone right now. I did order me a nice little rechargeable portable fan where I can put there when I cook.
Yeah.
Sure. And when you blacken that fish and throw it down, step back a little bit. You want it to breathe all that blackened smoke. It'll get you.
Yeah, it can. It can. But yeah, that's a great way. Really any fish I like to blacken.
That sounds like a guy who's burnt it before.
Well, I worked at a fish house, and when you're throwing down, 20 or 30 blackened fish, it'll take your breath away.
Yes. I don't know him well, but I knew he's kind of fishy. Okay, here we go.
So now we've eaten the fish, and that didn't take long because it's been too hot, and we haven't caught all that many. But we do have a freezer full of other wild game, venison, turkey. And we all love wild turkey, not the liquid kind, but the kind that you kill in the Arkansas forests. And, it's just better than Butterball, and it's until you've had it, you can't really describe it.
Yeah, there's no comparison. It's my favorite wild game to eat, and I like to grill it, and also like to batter it and fry it. And you can, of course, smoke the breast. There's a part of the turkey that a lot of folks don't get into, and even ducks or birds, they don't get the gizzard, because if you like gizzards, that's something you can fry up. You just got to know where to find them on the bird. But yeah, wild turkey breast is as good as it gets. Oddly enough, my Uncle Dewey introduced that to me. A great Uncle Dewey long ago. I was 8, so in 1978, at my Meemaw Thomas's, his sister, and he brought some wild turkey, and we of course had the traditional turkey that Meemaw made that was fantastic, but it didn't compare to what Uncle Dewey.
Welcome to this week's edition of Family Affair. Okay, let's go.
There you go.
You do it a lot of different ways. What's your favorite?
Goodness, it's tough to say between little wild turkey nuggets or turkey strips, deep fried, but also grill. I love to grill a wild turkey, especially, and you know this about me, I like to, if I harvest it if I kill it that day, I want to eat it that day. Same way with fresh fish. It's not going to get fresher, y'all. I mean, it's an obvious statement, but it holds true every time.
Right, and you were talking about fresh catfish a little earlier. You like to get yours at
The K. Roger?
Yeah. No, over in North Little Rock.
Oh yeah, BJ's Market and
Yeah,
Cafe.
thank you.
Absolutely, they're fresh.
I didn't mean to throw you a curve.
Their catfish is fantastic. There's a lot of great catfish here in Central Arkansas, but BJ's does a great job and great home cooked food, great atmosphere. Folks are great over there, and their pies and desserts are tremendous.
Now, I'm going to commit heresy here. People hold off on the phones, but there is nothing better to me, especially if you're camping out and you can kind of do this, but a fresh smallmouth bass out of an Arkansas stream, man, it's hard to beat that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's fresh fish, and obviously they're a prime resource. That is,
Mhm.
and so it's not often that we're probably harvesting those. Oftentimes, when we're fishing for smallmouth, we're eating the shadow bass
and the Kentuckys.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely, smallmouth in any way.
Do you remember that morning that you showed up to my campsite and we had shadow bass for breakfast?
I do.
Fried in butter on a little propane stove.
Gunner Pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
What
fantastic.
is shadow bass?
It's a Ozark bass. They have a few different names. They have they're prolific in most Arkansas streams that smallmouth are in, and they're going to hit the same type of lures because you're imitating a crawdad, and I generally imitate a crawdad when I smallmouth fish, and those shadow bass are going to hit them.
And I tell you what, I don't know what it is about them. They make a good brim-sized fillet. They're about that size, but they just taste so good.
And the freshness, of course, that's part of it. I mean, it's like a perch. I mean, it's just a bass in the bass family.
All right, I've got a question here. You and Brian have known each other for a long time. How many times have you seen him cook?
Probably that one time.
That hang on. I have
I
one.
knew that was coming.
One finger. However, it was delicious.
Yeah, I mean, what did you say? I'm batting 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
1 for 1.
Chef Boyardee over here.
Chef Boyardee. I like to stir fry the turkey, and I do it with deer too. Cut it into very thin strips, or just small cubes, like you say. Olive oil or walnut oil. Stir fry with red pepper, green pepper, yellow pepper, onions, mushrooms, whatever else you want to throw in there, and whatever the way it's seasoned up the way you like it. But it's really hard to beat that, especially over like noodles or rice.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like with, duck, transitioning over to duck, I like to do duck poppers. Everybody loves duck poppers, and it's basically a little small chunk of duck meat with cream cheese or your cheese of choice wrapped in bacon. Cook it until the bacon's mostly done over charcoal, and a lot of them rarely make it into you eat them right off the grill. And duck and dressing is a classic that I learned from my great aunt. And then of course you can with deer. Talking about venison, you can make tacos. And another one of my favorites is sloppy doughs, which I use venison to make sloppy doughs, and I cut up red pepper and an onion, and then to cook it down I use Wright's barbecue sauce, and it's fantastic on a toasted bun. Just good stuff, y'all.
All right, I'll give you a recipe off the air for good barbecue sauce.
Giddy up! I always want to learn more.
It is a good one. I've had it. I keep some of it around.
All right, we're going to take a break here. You're listening to Cooking with Ray and Brian and Alan. We'll be right back in just a minute. When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
A sale 200 million years in the making. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's loan and lease extinction event. Get out of that old fossil into a new GMC Sierra starting as low as $479 a month. Every new Buick on the lot at 0.9%. During Gwatney Buick GMC's loan and lease extinction event, we're rendering your current loan completely extinct. Make an appointment to get out of the dinosaur you're currently driving. 501-945-4444. 2025 Sierra 2500 HD. Right now, get up to $12,000 off MSRP. Sierra 1500 with up to $12,500 off. Terrain's at just $279 per month. It's the loan and lease extinction event at Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. Some vehicles require qualifying trade-in. All offers with approved credit. Stock numbers 30833, 31064, 31456. Terrain is a low-mileage lease.
At the Bet Saracen Sportsbook app, we realize lots of you have thought about opening an account, but you just haven't made that move yet. Well, now's the time with our new player offer. It's easy. You just sign up, use the code WELCOME, deposit at least $25, place a $25 bet, and that's it. Once that bet settles, you'll have $125 in free bets ready to go. Bet Saracen, the most popular sportsbook app in the state. Download it today on all your devices. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where the hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
Fellas, don't live with fatigue and low energy. Get your life back with testosterone therapy replacement at Low T Center. Take the test, get fast results, and start with TRT with Arkansas's leading experts in men's health. Now it's easier than ever with a new Synergenics Health app. Innovation in healthcare technology you won't find anywhere else. Fellas, get back to living your best life and do it with Low T Center. Download now or book an appointment while the test is still free at FixMyLowT.com. Again, that's FixMyLowT.com.
Arkansas is known for its beauty. Rolling hills, scenic fields and valleys, and beautiful rivers run through our state. We want to keep Arkansas beautiful, but we need your help. Do your part by not littering and by keeping your community clean. Register for a local cleanup or become a litter grabber to fight litter at your own pace. Your community needs you. Join us in keeping Arkansas beautiful. Visit KeepArkansasBeautiful.com to learn more. This message brought to you by this station, the Arkansas Broadcasters Association, and the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
I hope somebody out there's got some catfish in a skillet somewhere. You know what? This is how crazy I am. I had never put hot sauce on catfish. And I was up in Burgess one day with Coach Darrell Walker, and he was throwing that stuff. I went, "What are you doing?" Oh, no, I'd been missing out. I will confess.
I love some Louisiana hot sauce on some catfish. It's so good.
That is the one way that I do it when I fry it. I don't, I put some Louisiana hot sauce on the fish, then roll in the batter.
That's a good method. Absolutely, it'll flavor it up.
Yeah.
There's a product called Old Hickory made in Camden that's a real good hot sauce too. A little more tomatoey than Louisiana.
How many bottles do you have?
I've got 2 bottles at the house.
Well, good, we'll take one next week.
Only 2?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and cooking the wild game is really the best part of. We love the hunt, we love everything that goes with it, but man, partaking of it is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and you get to share it with your family and friends in most cases, and you can. A lot of folks, some of the stuff we've talked about, just about anyone's going to enjoy it. I mean, venison tacos, venison enchiladas, venison quesadillas, jumping over to make duck gumbo. I mean, a lot of times you flavor it in such a way where it's just a great taste, and folks aren't really aware that they're eating wild game.
All right, you guys fish together sometimes. What's your next outing be?
My next outing is probably going to be on the White River again. I went up there this weekend. It's fast and furious, but I think that Friday I'm going to give it another try.
Is that the trip that I didn't get to go on?
That would be the one. Yes,
that would be the one. I had a key dental appointment, and I was sick about that.
Well, we'll do it another time. He's got an open invitation for you because he really wants to meet you. But we'll talk about it when we get back. But yeah,
I'm thinking Caddo. I've got a hankering for the Caddo to go rip some lips on the Caddo.
Well, I'm always, lately, like the past few years, I get a hankering to get totally drenched and, run off the river with lightning and floodwaters. So whenever I want that, I go to the Caddo.
That's just only the Caddo for you? I thought that was most rivers that Brian went to.
Did you make it to the big rock where we caught we catch from that big flat rock one time with that big house up on the hill?
No, that was the Washita.
Was that Washita?
Yeah. That was the Washita. Yeah, just below Pencil Bluff. Yep.
Another good one.
Yeah,
that's a great river too.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. There was a big house up on the hill there, and there was people working on it. So you could hear the hammers and Ray and Rusty and I stood there and caught 20, 25 bass, and they were all good smallmouth. And these guys were watching this, and they're like, "Man, I'm gonna quit my job. I want to go with these guys."
See, if I'd have said 20, he'd said I was lying. But he went 25. I was going to go 20.
Well, there was a bunch. It was every bit of that. But yeah, that was a great day, great trip.
Yeah, Washita, Caddo, the Saline. Those are three really, really fantastic creek rivers to fish.
I'm gonna take a little detour here because I've been watching these videos of those floods down in Texas, and
tragic.
I'm going to tell you, man, 1995, I was fishing with Lee Nye, who owns the Napa store in Alma. We were up on Cove Creek up in Crawford County at the tail end of one of those. And I'm telling you, man, I'm in the water, and it's clear, and it's pristine, and until you see it, the solid wall of water, there it was, and, it was on me so fast that I couldn't do anything. It caught me, swept me off my feet, took me downstream about 300 yards. It took rescuers about 10 hours to find me. I was able to get out. I got into an eddy, and but I was on the wrong side and got up. It was in May, soaking wet. It got cold when the sun went down, and nearly succumbed to hypothermia when they finally got me at about 4 in the morning. I'm telling you, it happened so fast, and it looks just like those videos you saw where you got shallow, clean water, and the next thing you know, it's just filled with debris and
muddy
rocks
water.
And trees and everything else. Well, I was in the middle of that, and I'm telling you, until you have experienced it, hope you never do. But
and survived. Yeah.
And survived it, and so there was I was watching those videos, and my heart goes out to the families of all those people that were lost down there because it's horrific, and I just hope nobody suffered too long that was lost in that.
I hope everyone in our listening audience puts those people in their prayers tonight and continues to pray for them. And one of the things that bothers me about big natural disasters like that is the media is all over it for 4 or 5 days, and then they don't talk about it anymore. And this was one that's not going to be forgotten for a long time.
The tragedy is going to linger within those families for the rest of their lives.
We had that at Albert Pike, 15, 16, 17 years ago. A lot of people were lost their lives in that when a flood came through in the middle of the night. And
is that the Little Missouri?
Little Missouri, Albert Pike Recreation Area. They still haven't, the campground is still closed there. But Al and I fished a lot of streams, and Ray and I have been on a lot of them. Things happen out there, Always be careful because a river can rise like that. It depends on what's happened upstream that you may not know about. If you've got a big torrential downpour 15 miles down from you, it can be on you, and it just hits so fast.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Alan Thomas, appreciate you very much coming in tonight.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
I hope folks got some good cooking tips. I'm going to crank up that Blackstone griddle and see if I can cook me some fish.
I'm sure you can.
And I have to get the walleye out or I'm going to get chewed out by Brian, okay?
He goes by Foul Owl, so if you see his license plate, wave at him.
All right, you folks have a wonderful, wonderful week. It's going to be warm. Get out there when you can and enjoy the beautiful Arkansas out of doors.